My daughter stopped calling me. And I want to say this slowly, gently, the way truth deserves to be said, because it didn't happen all at once. It didn't come with a fight or a slammed door or cruel words. It came quietly, like dust settling on furniture you still use every day, like a silence that grows so normal you almost forget what noise sounded like. And maybe that's the hardest part, because if she had shouted, if she had accused me, if she had said, "Mom, you hurt me," I would have at least known where to begin, but instead there was just distance, a slow stretching of time between calls, first every day, then every week, then birthdays with short messages, then holidays with polite replies, and then one day I realized I was checking my phone not because it rang, but because I hoped it would, and that hope became a habit, and that habit became a quiet ache in my chest that no one else could see. I remember the days when she was little, when she would call out "Mom" from the other room just to hear my voice answer back, when my name on her lips sounded like safety itself. And I wonder sometimes when that sound changed, when my voice stopped meaning comfort and started meaning something else. Pressure, expectation, disappointment, control. Because that's what we don't talk about enough. How love can slowly turn into weight if we don't learn when to loosen our grip. I wasn't a bad mother, at least I don't think I was. I showed up, I cooked meals, I stayed awake when she was sick. I worried myself into exhaustion about her future. I sacrificed pieces of my own life so she could have more of hers. And yet here I am, wondering how someone you give your whole heart to can grow up and decide silence is easier than connection. There are nights when I replay old conversations in my head, searching for the moment I said the wrong thing, the tone that lingered too long, the advice that sounded like judgment. Because we mothers are so good at loving loudly but sometimes forget to listen quietly. And maybe she didn't stop calling because she stopped loving me. Maybe she stopped calling because she didn't feel heard. And that realization is a mirror that's hard to look into. I used to think being a mother meant always knowing what was best, always guiding, always protecting. But nobody tells you that there comes a time when guidance feels like interference and protection feels like mistrust. And the same hands that once held her up can start to feel like hands that won't let go. I remember the last long conversation we had, not the exact words, but the feeling, that subtle shift where she grew quiet and I kept talking, filling the space with concern, with suggestions, with warnings, because silence makes me uncomfortable and motherhood taught me to fix things. But sometimes fixing isn't what's needed. Sometimes presence without solutions is the real medicine, and I didn't know that then. Now the house feels different, even though it's the same. The walls still stand, the clock still ticks, but there's an echo where her laughter used to be. And every time the phone lights up my heart jumps like it's trained itself to hope again, only to settle back down when it's not her name. And I feel ashamed of that hope, as if wanting to hear from my own child is something I should be stronger about, something I should accept with grace. But grief doesn't follow rules, it follows attachment. People say give her space, and I nod because that's what a mature mother does. But inside I want to scream that space feels like abandonment when you're the one left waiting. That silence doesn't always heal. Sometimes it just hardens into distance if no one reaches across it. I write messages and delete them, because I don't want to sound needy. I don't want to guilt her. I don't want to be the reason she pulls back even more. So I choose silence too. And in that way we become mirrors of each other, both waiting, both afraid, both loving in ways we don't know how to express anymore. There are days when I feel angry, and I don't like admitting that, because mothers aren't supposed to feel anger toward their children. But I do. I feel angry that she can go days without wondering if I'm okay. Angry that she doesn't see the empty chair at the table. Angry that she doesn't realize how much courage it takes for me not to call. And then that anger dissolves into guilt, because maybe she's just living. Maybe she's just doing what I raised her to do. Be independent, build her own life, choose her own path. And maybe this silence is the proof that I succeeded, even if it feels like failure. I talk to other mothers, quietly, in lowered voices. And I hear the same stories dressed in different details. Daughters who pull away, sons who stop sharing, children who outgrow the version of us that raised them. And I realize this isn't just my story. It's a chapter in motherhood no one prepares you for. The chapter where love stays but access changes, where the role shifts from central to peripheral, and you have to grieve the closeness while respecting the distance. Sometimes I imagine what I would say if she called right now, and I practice not explaining myself, not defending my intentions, not listing my sacrifices, because love doesn't keep score, and apologies don't need footnotes. I would just say, I miss you. And maybe, I'm listening, because that's what I wish I had said more often before silence became our language. I'm learning slowly that my worth as a mother isn't measured by how often my phone rings, that love doesn't disappear just because it's not acknowledged, and that sometimes the bravest thing a mother can do is step back without stepping away in her heart, to leave the door open without standing in the doorway blocking the view. There are moments of peace now, moments when I sit with the ache instead of fighting it, when I allow myself to remember the good without immediately searching for what went wrong, when I trust that relationships, like seasons, can go dormant without being dead, and that maybe one day, when she's ready, when life softens her or challenges her in ways only life can, she'll reach for the familiar comfort of a voice that has always loved her, even imperfectly. Until then, I speak her name in prayers she may never hear. I love her in ways that don't require response, and I remind myself that motherhood doesn't end when communication fades. It simply changes form, from holding hands to holding space, from daily calls to quiet faith. And though my daughter stopped calling me, she never stopped being my daughter, and I never stopped being her mother. And in that truth, as painful as it is, there is still love, still hope, still a story that isn't finished yet.